And hello, everyone. Hello and welcome to Speaking with Angels on Angel Heart Radio. My name is Terry Angel, and I'd just like to share that our angels are listening. They're listening to our heart song. They hear our cries for help, our laughter, and our every need. When we reach out our hand, they take it under their wings to a place where only love resides. They wait patiently while we open our hearts to them. Will you open your heart as they speak to you now? My guest tonight is Summer Joy Raymer. Summer is the founder of Garden of Joy, which we're going to hear about tonight, and co-founder of SIGN, which we also will hear about. SIGN stands for Synergized Impact Network Exchanged Alliance, and Compassion Games International, which has a lot of exciting things going on tonight, and I'm hoping Summer will tune us in to a couple of those things that's going on. She is committing to holding a space for quantum healing, guiding individuals to the Garden of Joy all over the world. What are you doing now that makes peace on earth by 2030 possible? She has a bachelor's degree from Western Washington University in therapeutic recreation, which continues to take projects and campaigns to new heights, guiding individuals, teams, communities, and organizations to achieve their ultimate dreams while illuminating optimal well-being and serving a better world. Summer, welcome to Angel Heart Radio and Speaking with Angels. It's a delight to have you here tonight.
Thank you so much for having me, Terry. You really are an angel and a light of
Oh,
this world. I'm honored to be in this space.
thank you. And Summer, I know we've talked a bit, and I've gotten involved in some of the activity of your organization's SIGN, but I know that there's a huge event taking place right now with Compassion Games. And I want as many people all over the world to be involved in that event as can possibly happen. So, can you share with us what is going on right now?
Yes. Well, gosh, where to begin, really? There are so many things to tune into that can be such an expression of waves of positive news and there's an invitation that is unfolding this week. So the Compassion Games is a nonprofit, and it is this incredible opportunity about 4 times a year to participate with people all over the world for free in compassionate action. And we're able to track on this report map all the compassion. It's like kind of taking a pulse of the compassionate fever of planet Earth about 4 times a year.
I
And the
love
way that
that.
we track that compassion in action is how many volunteers, how many hours of service, how many people, life, rivers, beings served, and then money raised for local and global cause. And so, starting on really Martin Luther King Day, there is a kind of fusion of some of the compassion games that have happened over the years. This is a really big year in relation to the legacy of Martin Luther King. And there is a lot happening that is the overall arching intention of it all is about selfless service in action. And there's so many different cool, energizing ways to be in service of this, world that Martin Luther King Jr. and his legacy obviously continues to live on, and is really kind of the anchor of it all. And there's a lot of different ways, featured ways to play, we say.
Mhm.
And one of the really greatest ways to play the compassion games, as my husband John Raymer and I have found over the last couple of years, is sharing and caring for each other.
Oh,
And that's
yes.
really what inspired SIGN. So SIGN is an ongoing support. So on a monthly basis, there's a membership program, an alliance, a community of family of individuals and organizations like Terry Angel and Enlightened World Network. A lot of the things that you probably see weaving here are part of this alliance that is about building synergy experiences. And one of the places that we work together is on Facebook, and how we're, optimizing and creating um, like continuity among so many organizations that have great things going on. And we are making waves of sharing and caring. And it's really about taking that behavior change, which is really the change that we need for what what the vision ultimately is, peace on earth by 2030. So every single person and organization is weaving in their mastery, their contribution, what it is that they what they are called to be doing at this time, and weaving it together with others. There's no wrong way. No one loses, by the way, the compassion
Right.
games. It's a challenge that challenges all of us to be more of a we,
Mhm.
and to celebrate each other's wins, which is about really service. So that's starting this week, and you can check out on the Compassion Games Facebook page. There's a massive Martin Luther King celebration event that's going to be happening online, and seeing different teams sharing their service projects. And there's a incredible challenge that we've been asked to participate with John Legend and his nephew, with Sister Jenna, to a love one another challenge that involves music and sharing that in your communities all over the world. So there's a lot, and this week's a big week, so you
That's
can check it out
awesome.
there.
And Summer, I really love what you said, that it's a win-win. There's no losers, because in this game, everybody comes out a winner.
Yes.
And that's what happens when we collaborate, isn't it?
It is. And you know what I love about compassion games and sign is the value that I often feel I receive the most from is when I'm contributing, is when I'm participating. Like action is very powerful. The action of, okay, I'm gonna show up and see how I can be of service here, how I can support the collective, how I can support synergy, or how from where I am in the world can contribute to more service. And so there's really this ongoing, it doesn't end either. Once
Right.
the 40 days end on February 29th, but there's really the ongoing, this is an infinite game, you
Hmm.
know? Yeah.
It is, because that's what life is all about. The
Yeah.
more we lift each other up, the more we show that compassion to each other and want every one of us to win.
Yeah.
There is no competition. This is something that the angels have shown over and over again. Nobody is higher than, nobody is lower than. We are all on equal footing. And
That's
once we can realize that, that takes that whole competitive part out, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And it's playful, like I often feel too with the, thank you for bringing up the angels. The angels are so um they are everywhere, and that kind of gets at the core of my personal soul work, which is the garden of joy. And I truly do believe, especially service and being to kind of get out of the rut of whatever may feel kind of like a block or a offness, that when I am stepping into a place of being of service for another, or in that portal of generosity, that I suddenly, it's like my angel wings get activated when I
Yes.
am in that space of service. And there's also the compassion for others is really big, and it all starts from within, of that entering that space and nourishing inside myself first,
Mhm.
that compassion and that love and care starts here and then is out to be of service to others.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
because we have to have it inside
massive.
first.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. We can't give what we don't have.
Yeah. And so the angels are, they, thank goodness for them.
Yes.
They nourish me to continue to step forward more courageously, be more accessible and more present, and have more compassion, and be more like authentically available
Mhm.
because of my relationship with the angels. And those that space that I call the Garden of Joy is is the angelic field. It is the angel.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Garden of Joy. I love the whole concept of it. Tell
Mm.
us how that came to be. How did that happen?
Yeah, well, I continue to discover it, Terry. I never stop. I have not um come to a point of like, oh, this is what it is, period. Like,
Mm.
I am constantly discovering it every time I open myself to the Garden of Joy. But probably about a year and a half or so ago, I was kind of in a space, a little bit of a rut. I kind of felt like a part of me was missing, like a major part of my purpose, that there was something more, like an evolution that was wanting to kind of break open, and I
Mhm.
didn't know where it was. And at the time, the Compassion Games and Sign was developing, but it was still pretty part-time. There were, I would say, financial struggles in my life at the time. I was in a pattern and place of kind of feeling like my independence was kind of dimming, and I was really in an interesting kind of darker place. And I remember I was part-time, it's ironic, but I was pulling weeds out of my friend's garden, doing part-time work just to make some money.
Mhm.
And I remember I I just really I was having a conversation with the universe, and like, I feel like there's more for me in my life. I feel like there's something more stirring in me. Like, show me, what is it? Like, I just,
Mhm.
and I just remember this moment of like, it was sort of cloudy, and the clouds sort of parted, and the sunlight just kind of entered onto my forehead, which is a major part of the Garden of Joy, is my intuition,
Mhm.
by the way. And so it was
Right.
like the sun kind of like came right here and just warmed my face. And I was listening in a
Mhm.
very oneness and available way. And I heard the Garden of Joy. I heard the universe say Garden of Joy.
Mhm.
And from that moment onward, I have been like, just like, what is that? And been in a very intuitive exploration of discovering what that is through being of service, work, doing one-on-one work. I have been 100% guided by my intuition with everything that is the Garden of Joy. Um, and so how I describe it, it is a place etched in the universe, made for you, that is like where pure love wins, where all of your most extraordinary visions and dreams and the way that you want to feel right now in this moment, it all is right there, is this place. And there are 8 portals to enter this Garden of Joy. And I guide people to open up those portals. And
Mhm.
depending on who the person is and what they have going on, and what portals are necessary to open and work through, those portals are angels.
Yes.
And there are specific angels that are almost like the gatekeepers of those portals, that I'm learning more and more, and colors that are part of the part of those those doorways. And so that the anchors in the language really are connected to these portals that are connected to the chakras, connected to
Mm-hmm.
colors and patterning that is of the person I'm working with, their natural unfolding, like who they naturally are, is what I'm listening to
Mm-hmm.
that supports that space. And I haven't shared this yet with anyone, but I feel like I want to share this with you, Terry. Is last week I started writing my book. I'm writing a book about the
Yay.
joy. And last week, Ruth Anderson or Deb, one of them asked me, well, what is it that you want to guide the healing day that's coming up in a couple
Mm-hmm.
of days? And I'm guiding an experience in the Garden of Joy. So I'm very much like in this writing from the Garden of Joy.
Yeah.
And it just came through me. And I was like, oh. And what came through me is that the Garden of Joy is coming from Peace on Earth in 2030.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I
So
got
when I,
chills.
yeah, I've been having chills too ever since
Yeah.
I just, it was like another breakthrough. And that's what I mean,
Yes.
that I'm constantly just so open to
Yeah.
um
And that's what it
answering that
takes.
question.
Yeah, that's what it takes is that openness,
Mhm.
saying, okay, whatever you want me to do, I'm
Yeah.
willing. It's that willingness. But
Yeah.
Summer, listening to you describe this place, this garden of joy, it
Mhm.
makes me want to be there, like all the time be there. So you're going to guide us through that experience on the 16th, which
I
is
am.
coming up this Thursday. What
Yeah.
is your time spot on that day? Do
But
you
thank you
know?
for asking me. I'm
Yeah,
so
because I
I'm
really
so
want
in the present
people,
moment here, but let's
I
see.
know, I
All
really
right.
want people to enjoy it and to experience it.
So on Thursday, so those of you that are listening, Enlightened World Network, which Terry and I uh, are a part of, there is this healing day that our many amazing people are guiding about 30-minute long healing offerings for the planet. And that's really what I'm called to do, is for the
Mhm.
planet and for humanity, for us together.
Yes.
And so my time frame is okay,
Yeah, and while she's looking
looks
at
like
that,
it's
that
at
day will begin at 8 a.m. Eastern Time,
right.
and the last part will begin at 8 p.m. We're going to stream live for 12 hours on that day.
Right. Yeah. Yes. And so my session starts at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is when my session is.
Okay, can you repeat that? My internet just stuck for a minute.
10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's
So
1
that's,
o'clock Eastern Time.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. 10 a.m.
awesome. Well, I know I will be there. I'll be there the whole day.
Yeah. You're going to be
But
in
I
it.
invite anybody who, if this has caught your attention at all, if what Summer has described as the Garden of Joy interests you, please come and experience it. It is going to be amazing. And it's such an amazing concept. And I know that it was totally inspired by the angels. I know this. I feel
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's the more and more that I've realized that the angels are, I mean, it actually, Archangel Michael has been an advisor for me
Mhm.
since the beginning of Garden of Joy. So it was for quite some time, and this is part of the evolution of our work and of our
Mhm.
relationship with all life.
Yeah.
I think that continues to evolve. My work sign and how that unfolds as each person kind of comes into sign, it
Mhm.
expands the evolution. What synergy is expanding, it's always
Right.
growing. And so like that, my relationship with angels has definitely gotten more and more efficient and more clear. And I believe the reason that is I do every day. I start my day, I wake up in the morning and I call on the angels of each eight portals. And that portal aspect is definitely something that I do in my
Mm-hmm.
one-on-one work, but I, work with intention from that place. And so, for example, I'll give an example. This morning, I had a lot of trouble with my sleep last night, and I needed to sleep in. And so when I woke up in the morning with calling in the angels, there is a tendency sometimes that I get hard on myself, like, how are you going to get everything done now that you slept
Mm-hmm.
in? No, no, no. Like, I started to notice that. And so
Right.
how I empower my garden of joy is, before I do anything, I lay in bed and I say, I'm calling on the first portal for the power to be like, to be radically, to radically accept myself, the power to be radical acceptance. And I'm calling on the second portal to create the power to radically accept, to create that. I'm calling on the third portal, the power to radically accept in action today. I'm calling on the fourth portal, that is the heart, the power to radically accept with love, calling on the angels of the fourth portal, and calling on the fifth portal, the power to share and express radical acceptance, calling on the sixth portal, where the intuition, the power to see radical acceptance today. And I call on the seventh portal, the power to activate radical acceptance in all of my body, all of my being, and all of my relations. And calling on the eighth portal, this field around my body, this pink, prayerful, my faith tribe, I call in the power to protect radical acceptance everywhere I go today. So I start my day calling on the angels and
Beautiful.
the dynamicness of empowerment. It is an
Mm-hmm.
empowerment system that it is the garden of joy. So starting from that place, before I even get out of bed and before I do
Mm-hmm.
anything, I start
Yeah.
there. And whenever
Beautiful.
throughout the day where it may feel like it's a little distant,
Mm-hmm.
and there are certain portals that, there was a certain part of my day, Terry, where I felt kind of like a tension in my throat. I felt like I needed,
Mm-hmm.
so I, you know, washing dishes, doing my laundry, and I found myself wanting to call on the fifth portal and calling on the angels of that portal for acceptance and love. And I did some singing, I had some music on that brought
Right.
me into
Yeah.
that joy. Because the thing
Mm-hmm.
is about joy is that it is a birthright,
Yes.
and it is the frequency of where peace on earth in 2030, peace on earth by 2030, that place where we are on planet earth in 2030 is joy.
Yes.
We've achieved peace.
Mm-hmm.
The earth is no longer crying and angry, and fires aren't roaring anymore. We are working in harmony with all life
Right.
there. And that is where I guide from, that future place that is here too,
Mm-hmm.
that in as personal as it may be in the body. That is
Mm-hmm.
where I guide from.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And intentions are so powerful. About 6 years ago, I turned my life around with gratitude. So
Mhm.
every morning without fail, as soon as I open my eyes, I start giving gratitude. So I start saying, thank you, God, for another day, for another opportunity, for whatever is going to come into this day, and how I can make a difference in the world. Once you start your day with setting an intention like that, just like what you do with your portals and what I do with gratitude, it's the same thing. We're setting an intention to make an impact. And we
Yeah.
are making an impact.
Yeah.
And to have peace in 2030 is not out of the realm of possibility at all. But it is going to take all of us working together, all of us setting those intentions, all of us really feeling it in our heart and wanting it from the bottom of our heart, wanting that peace.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if you, because I know you have such and in my evolution of my relationship with angels, I think about you in your mastery of your relationship with angels. Is there a particular angel that you connect to in that state of gratitude, or is there a particular angel that is with you through the gratitude?
What I do, Summer, I call in the angels from the four directions. There are four archangels that,
Mm-hmm.
for lack of a better word, govern each direction, east, north, west, and south. And
Mm-hmm.
they're all connected with different aspects of those directions. So I call in starting with the east because that's the beginning, that's where everything begins. So I call in from the east Archangel Raphael, the
Mm-hmm.
healing angel, and have him there like immediately providing anything that needed to be washed away as I wake up, as I rejoin my body from wherever I was in the astral realm. So I call in Raphael first, and then I call in Archangel Michael, protecting my energy as I
And
go through my
that's the
day.
south. Is that the south?
Michael's the south,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
yeah, and then from
So,
the west is Archangel Gabriel, the angel of clarity, the angel that brings us the messages that we need to have and need to get out into the world. And then from the north is Archangel Uriel. Archangel Uriel is the one that centers and balances us. So as you can see that progression, the healing, the protection, the clarity, the listening, and then getting very balanced and centered before you even start your day. It's such a wonderful feeling to go into a day like that. And it's
yeah.
not to say that every day is going to be perfect because
No.
it won't. We're in a human body, okay?
Yes.
But it's going to be more powerful than it would be if we didn't go into it with all of that reality that
Yeah.
we have the power behind us. We have the help.
Well, what I hear too with the four directions, how you bring in the angels and the how I connect with the portals. To me, I hear like it laying down that empowerment and that birthright, that choice of
Mm-hmm.
everything. It's like we're laying down the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
I even find too with the Garden of Joy, it when I'm connected to that, and then I am connected to the vision, like what is the ultimate vision of all of my actions today
Mm-hmm.
and this day, and I even maybe can feel into those different moments of the day as I kind of project myself, cast myself forward in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I can relate with that in relation with how it's impacting peace on earth, how it's
Yes.
impacting my goal of writing a book this year, having
Mm-hmm.
that actually in my hands and feeling that
Yes.
relationship, is it like fine tunes the like where distractions are less powerful
Mm-hmm.
when I lay down that foundation of starting from that empowerment, that activation of empowerment, and like calling in exactly what I want. It really,
Yeah.
yeah, it totally doesn't mean that there's not ever going to be anything wrong in the day.
Right.
But my response as I continue to practice life from the Garden of Joy, there is a promise that's
Mm-hmm.
deepened and more grounded with the allies of what my intention is, the allies of what I'm manifesting,
Mm-hmm.
the allies of the ultimate reality, which is for all life, is that peace on earth. So it's
Right.
like it settles into something that doesn't feel chaotic or
Mhm.
disoriented into my day. Yeah.
Right, right. Isn't that beautiful? And that's the power that the angels bring to us. It is peace. You know, when we connect with them and we let them bring that energy through to us, it can only be described as peace. There's
Yeah.
no anxiety. The anxiety comes from projecting, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do this next hour, or this next day, this next year? We're projecting, and that brings the anxiety. So
Mm.
letting the angels in to just guide, it takes all of that away, and
Mm-hmm.
we're left with peace. So I see that bringing that outward into earth,
Yeah.
letting the angels help us with this mission of peace on earth. And
Yeah.
I pray every night before I even close my eyes. I pray for peace on earth. That's my one wish. If I had any wish at all to be granted in my lifetime, it would be to see peace on earth.
You're gonna see it.
Yeah, I know. I know this. Well, Summer, I'm looking at the time, and I know that you have a commitment that you need to get to. Tell us how people can find you. How can we reach out to you? We mentioned the day of healing that's coming up, and I really want them to experience you on that day, which will be streaming live on Enlightened World Online, and we're going to be sharing it all over the place.
Awesome.
So there's many opportunities for people to find you there. But if someone wanted to find out more about what you do and how to get involved with some of this wonderful stuff you've shared with us, how do they do that?
Yeah, well, I am very active on Facebook, and I do have all of my work, all three. It's a power triad, are all on Facebook. So there's that. There's a Facebook group that is a space to step into the Garden of Joy. And I believe I sent you the link to that. So I don't know if that can be
Mm-hmm.
shared in the comments of, and you're welcome to join that group. I do have a few questions that I ask of you. So if I find that if you're wanting into the group and you're not answering the questions, it helps me vet, and it helps me know how to best serve you. So there's just a few questions that I ask and make sure that I have a way of getting in connection with you outside of Facebook as well. As we know, we never know what is going to happen with some of these platforms. So I want to build a relationship with you. And the questions that are there is just, where are you wanting more joy in your life, and what are the obstacles from, like, where in your life are you experiencing obstacles from that? And that's the question. So it's stepping into the Garden of Joy is the Facebook group. I would love to welcome you into that space. And then, of course, the compassiongames.org is the website. There's also a Facebook page. Um, if you check out the compassiongames.org and click on the Martin Luther King 40 Days of Peace, it will take you to a landing page where there's lots of information of these next 40 days of how to contribute and be in that selfless service, learning about the challenge. We're being challenged by John Legend and his nephew to love one another challenge. There's information about how to do that on that landing page, how to report on the compassion report map and the impact. That's all on that landing page that you can simply sign up for free and have access to a lot of that. And then sign if you're interested in learning about that or signing up to become a member. You can check out SINE.network, and there's a very brief application process there that we can begin to start a conversation with you and discover how sign and your work in the world, how we can support your work amplifying and being a part of this greater picture of peace on earth by 2030.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I did put that in the comments on Facebook just now with the
Thank
live.
you.
So please, please get in touch with Summer Joy Raymer. Summer, I love you to the moon and back. I just think you are adorable, and your mission is so huge. And I'm right there with you. You have 100% of my support in
Wow.
getting everything that you're doing, getting it out there.
Thank
to
you.
the masses as
Thank you
much as
so
we can.
much, Terry. And we really like, I'm excited about seeing the angels in these live streams, and
Yeah.
I feel, I just want to share with you that I often feel that angels are more vividly around me when I am in a relationship with you and Ruth Anderson. There's a few of you that really have supported my relationship to deepen and get more and more alive with the angels. So I look forward to um, to being in that conversation with you about how we're really inviting them to
Yes.
be a part of this with us, not just as like another realm, but like right here, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like I see
Right.
that, and I see
Yeah.
that more possible with people
Yeah.
like you and your mastery of your
Yeah.
relationship with them.
Yeah. Thank you. Because that's where they are. You
Yeah.
know, they're not like far off somewhere inaccessible. They're right here with
Right.
us. Yeah. I
Just right.
know. I know. They
Feel
show
them
us all
standing.
the time. They show us their presence, and it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Summer. I'll be back on next Monday night, same time, 8 o'clock Eastern. And my guest next week will be Michelle Landers. Michelle is a numerologist. So tune in and let's see what wonderful insights she can bring us for this year of 2020. As I know it's already an amazing year and there's a lot happening. And let's look at the numerology and what it has to say about the energy and all of the things that will take place this year. So join me next week. And in the meantime, feel the energy of the angels. They are really right here, right with us every moment. Just ask them, how can I get closer to you? How can I feel your presence more in my life? And that's what this show is all about, speaking about the angels, speaking with the angels, with earth angels like Summer, and if you're interested in being on with me, or you know someone that would be a wonderful guest that you would like to hear more about, just let me know. Put it in the comments, and I'll take that into consideration. So I want to thank Angel Heart Radio for providing this at angellight777.com. You can go there and hear all the broadcasts on Angel Heart Radio. Thank you again, Summer. I love you so much, and I will talk to you soon, my dear.
I love you too. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.